It's late. You guys, I need to get rest. I just seen this young girl and she reminded me of my cousin. She reminded me of my cousin and she was crying. It was a young um black girl and she looked just like my cousin. Um, and she was on TikTok and she was crying and she was asking why do they why do they hate us so much? Okay, you guys know I'm mixed. I'm half black and half Puerto Rican. Okay. Why do they hate us so much? And I remember growing up, um, I grew up with both sides of my family, but especially I grew up more with my mother's side. My mother's very dark, okay, very dark. I remember I used to be in public and I used to say mom, and they used to look at me like, "That's your mother, right?" And then I remember when my mother had me, the nurse told my mother, did they bring the right baby in? Okay, the right baby. Yeah, the right baby, you guys. Um, because I look more of my father's heritage, okay? But I also look like my mother. I look just like my mother, just light skin, okay? Um, this really bothered me, and the reason why it bothered me, um, this it's a new Jim Crow law. Well, the Jim Crow law was an old law. Um, the girl was crying and she said something so profound. She said, "Why do they hate me? Why do they hate us? Or why do they hate me?" Okay. Now, the oldest trick in war, okay, in war, right, is to divide and conquer. Okay. You can divide people and conquer them, right? And right now is not a time to divide us. Okay. There's been so much division. Um, and this is all a game to them. Okay, this is a game to them. But this is people's real life. Okay. People's real life are being affected. Um, Now I'm gonna put Jim Crow law. Now what I'm seeing, you guys, what I'm seeing right now, what's about to happen to California and other places, um, some severe weather. Okay. Um, why would they even put that out here? Okay, the reason why they put it out here is to get people upset. Okay, and the young girl I seen crying, um, she doesn't need to cry. Okay, I put it on there, but the Jim Crow, I put the Jim Cow law. Ah, the Jim Crow law that was just passed. I have a friend that is from Mississippi. Okay, and I lived in the South, but if you would consider Florida the South, okay, the mentality of Southern people than Northern people. Okay, Northern people, um, it's a different mentality. Okay, I grew up in Pennsylvania and Florida. Okay, Florida, it was different. It was like it was so much, just like even Pennsylvania, that there was so much heritage. Okay, heritage. Um, but you gotta understand, Pennsylvania was a commonwealth, and a lot of people from Pennsylvania came here for religious prosecution. Okay, um, and there was no slaves in Pennsylvania, but there was slaves in Pennsylvania. Okay, so what they're trying to do is divide and conquer. It's one of the oldest. They've been doing it for for a long time. This Black Lives Matter movement is not run by Black people. Okay, it's run by a bunch of white old men. Okay, it's not run by the African American communities. Okay, they're not benefiting from the Black Lives Matter. What are they getting from Black Lives Matter? Not a damn thing. Okay. And then the thing about it is they're destroying their own neighborhoods. And it's because of this divide and conquer. Okay. They want to manipulate us. Okay. Um, so I'm gonna read about this new Jim Crow. Um 7 days ago this happened, you guys. Okay. Um, so let's talk about it. It's on the Daily Beast, and then it's on another news outlet. Early this month, white representatives in Mississippi's House approved a bill to create a new district that includes all minority white neighborhoods in Jackson. Jackson is the capital, Jackson, Mississippi. Okay, the capital. I think it's the capital city that is 83% black, and I'm going to tell you why they're doing this, you guys. Okay, why? It's 83% blacks. That's the majority. Okay. This includes creating a criminal justice system for the direct overseen by all white power base. Under House Bill 1020, the white conservative Chief Justice of Mississippi Supreme Court would handpick the new district. Two serving judges and prosecutors and public defenders will be chosen by the state's white Republican Attorney General. The zones will be placed by expanding Capitol Police Force led by current white police chief and supervised by the state white public safety commissioner, but because all the district officers will be appointed instead of elected. So basically, Mississippi, okay, the people that are going to be your public safety commissioners and your district offices will be appointed instead of elected. This means that they're not having no elections in Jackson, Mississippi. Okay. Now I see this throughout Mississippi. Okay. Now just Jackson is the capital of Mississippi. I think it's the capital of Mississippi. Jackson's majority black citizens would have voting rights or matter, making Mississippi the only junction where, according to the ACLU, unelected judge and prosecutors have jurisdiction over criminal and civil law matters. Although 12% of their sales tax would be redirected to help pay for all this. Okay, so if you're in Mississippi, 12% of your sales tax is going to fund this program, the Jim Crow law. Okay. It's oppressive because it strips the rights of black folks to vote. Jackson Mayor Tanuki Antar Lumber said after the bill cleared the House, you guys, this bill actually cleared the House. It cleared the House. The House of Representatives as we know it today, where the White House is, okay? It cleared the House. It's oppressed because there will be judges who will determine sentences over people's life. So if you commit a crime in Mississippi, and this, I feel like it's always been like this in these states, okay? But this is just saying now that they're not going to elect officials in; they're just going to put their asses in, okay? This is what I'm getting, okay? And the reason why is these are predominantly black areas, okay? And I want to tell you what is so freaking interesting. And your taxpayers' money for black people need to wake up. Okay. I'm gonna tell y'all why. Y'all need to wake up. Okay. They are doing so much to the African American communities, black communities. It's unreal. And they're getting away with it. But now they're seeing that the African communities, they're not putting up with this bullshit anymore. Okay, they're not putting up with it. Okay, they're speaking out, and not just speaking out. This generation is not like my mother's generation and the generation before my mother's generation. Okay, it's that's even my children's generation. Generation what is it? Um uh I don't know, Generation Z or Generation whatever it is called. These kids ain't playing out here, okay? They're not like our grandparents and our great grandparents, my nanny's days. They're not playing. And what I mean is they're not playing is they're not going to be putting up with a lot of this bullshit because they see right through this deceit and they're knowing who they are. Okay. They know who they really are. Okay. So now they're woke. Okay. It's like you poke the beast, right? Or you poke somebody so many times, you're gonna get a reaction. Okay. Poke the bear is gonna react. Okay. Now what I see is this is a form of manipulation on an energetic level, and to divide and conquer is one of the oldest tricks in wars. Divide the people and conquer the people. Okay. Now, I'm not gonna go back all like too depth in this, but this bill was passed, and just imagine this bill was passed in the House, the Senate, okay. And the crazy thing is, if you look at the way the world is set up now, right? Who is going to be the minorities? And this is what people are scared of, okay? The biggest population is going to be the Hispanic population, okay? The Spanish population is going to be the biggest population, okay? Um, so basically, if you're found criminal, they're not voting these people in, they are going to elect these people in, okay? They're going to say, we're not doing no votes. You're going to be here, you're going to be here, you're going to be here. Now, what is so interesting is the percentage of African Americans, and this is in many communities. Um, there's communities. See, you got to understand. After slavery, there was a project. Okay, that break the word down. Project. There was a project from the American government. Project. Okay, black people. They called it the projects. Projects. Okay. Um, they were a project to the American government. Okay. So they wanted to house them in certain areas. Okay. But the problem is happening is, yeah, you can try to keep these people in certain areas, but they're moving out of these areas. Okay. They're expanding. Okay. They're owning their own farmland. Okay. And they know what's going on out here. People are aware and aware of what's going on. But the Crow law, I seen a girl. She was actually crying, you guys. She looked like my cousin. Okay, my cousin that graduated from law school. Um, and she was crying. And she said that it was so powerful because she said, "Why do they hate us so much?" When people hate somebody, it's because of a lot of reasons. Okay, but the main reason why hate the word hate. Okay, um, is mostly out of fear. Okay, a lot of people out here, okay, live in communities where they're not like I grew up, you guys, around diverse people. I have multi diverse people in my family. Um, so I lived in both worlds. Okay. Um, even when I lived in Florida, there's predominantly black neighborhoods. Okay, and I remember um these black communities were thriving. Okay, they were thriving at one time. Okay, they had their own banking system, um, their own transportation system. Okay, they had a lot going on. Okay, and what I want you to remember is right now, not in America, but South Africa. Remember apartheid, right? The blacks are the majority, right? And the whites that have went to South Africa, that their grandparents have went there to farm or whatever they want to do, are now the minorities. Okay. So these people passing these ridiculous ass laws that are like laws passed after slavery, during slavery, is just to divide the nation. Because if we come together as one, we would be a powerhouse record. Okay. And this is what's happening. People are coming together as one. Okay. People are no longer asleep. They're awoke of what's really going on. This tactic they try to use, like the Black Lives Matter movement, um, was funded by a bunch of white rich men. Okay. And the money that coming in was coming into their pockets. It wasn't coming into the African American communities. Okay. So you guys need to wake the hell up of like what's really going on out here. And for this bill to even pass in the Senate, it speaks volumes because it still tells you the mentality of the people that we have in the government, the Senate, okay, the Senate, okay, the people that we're paying our tax money to, that have been in the Senate for years, okay, these are older people. I had a client, he was 93, 92, and the way he talked about my people, okay, I was at work one time and he said to me, um, he was in the military and he said, I could, when you're 93, you're going to say what you want to say. Okay. You just got to respect it, listen to it, and keep it moving. Okay. Because when you get a certain age, the older people are going to say what they want to say. Okay. They don't care if they're hurting feelings. And sometimes, like when he even said it, I don't even think he realized what he was saying. And it's not even that he didn't realize, it's because of the mentality that he grew up in, the environment he grew up in, where it was just a normal thing to say what he said to me. He said, and when he said it, it took me like for shock, because I'm like, okay, I'm here taking care of him every day, so what does he really think of me? You know what I mean? So anyway, so he says to me, I didn't know that there was color, like Black American troops. I have a family member. I was doing like my ancestry. I still want to finish my ancestry. Um, and there was Black troops, and the Black troops were put in um, bunks with the white military men. And he said to me, okay, this man said to me right in my face, okay, he's a Freemason, so he was teaching me a lot about Freemason, and then he was saying that I'm gonna share the pictures of the Freemason. I'll probably do that tomorrow. But he was like, he can't really talk about the Freemason, but he was a part of the Freemason. But anyway, so he said to me, he said, they knew their place. They knew their place. And I looked at him. I was in shock what he said. But then I thought about it and I said, this man is like 93. He grew up in Pennsylvania. Um, he grew up in a like suburban area, and there wasn't a lot of black people around there. Okay. So he really didn't interact with, minorities until he hit the military. Okay. So he said they knew their place. So I said to him, what do you mean they knew their place? He said they knew their place. Just like that. Okay. What he meant by that is that they knew their place is that he is a white man and he feels like he's more superior because he's of the Caucasian race. Okay. And it was so interesting that he said that. And then I came at him in a respectful way. And I said, you know what's so interesting? I said, you know, the head of the FBI, Jay Hoover, what's that guy that made the FBI? He was black. He passed as white. He was like, I didn't know that. No, you didn't know that. Okay. Um, was it J. Edgar Hoover? J. Edgar Hoover was he he um he was black. He was black. The head of the FBI was a black man. Guys, you be surprised what you find out, okay? So, the head of the FBI for nearly 50 years. This guy was the head of the FBI for 50 years. J. Edgar Hoover, okay, becomes one of America's most powerful men, serving through 8 presidents and 3 wars. Hoover utilized methods both ruthless and horrific to keep his country safe, projecting a guarded persona in public and private. Okay. He lets few into his inner circle. Amongst those close to him is his prodigy and consistent companion Clyde Tolson, Arnold Hammond, Ali Gandhi, Naomi Watts, and local security. There was a movie that was done on him. And Leonardo DiCaprio played him. And you know what's so interesting? I was like, J. Edgar Hoover was a black man. Okay, he was passing to be white. What passing is people they pass they look lighter like me or lighter than me, and in society they would pass as white to get good jobs, and also they would pass as white um to live in better communities, okay? But most of it was getting more better paying jobs, okay? And they felt like they were more respected because they were white, but they really wasn't white. They were just passing as white, okay? I said, yeah, did you know J. Edgar Hoover was a black man? He looked at me like I was crazy. He said, no, I did not know that. I said, yes, J. Edgar Hoover, the head of the FBI, was a black man. He was not white. And then they had Leonardo DiCaprio play him, which I thought was interesting. Clint Eastwood was the director of the movie. If you look at J. Edgar Hoover's pictures, I'm gonna post them. Okay, he was black. Okay, he was a black man. That's what I was pulling from his energy. He had a book there, and it was of J. Edgar Hoover passing white, but he was a black man. He hit it for um. There's a picture put of him. But what they're trying to do is they're trying to divide and conquer. But what would be concerning for me is if I lived in Mississippi and I was of black descent, and basically I feel like it's gonna be less, okay? Because they're just gonna put people in the office. And what else I see that's coming is the election time, you guys. The election time is gonna get very interesting out here. The reason why I say that is because if Weston gets in office, which she will be running for the Michelle Obama. She's gonna come out of the woodwork and she's gonna say she wants to run. She wants to make change. This is what she's gonna tell you. Michelle Obama is for alleged purpose or entertainment purposes, this video is for entertainment purposes. Michelle Obama is not a woman, she's a man. She's born a man. Okay. She's not a woman. She's actually born but it doesn't matter. But yeah, I'm gonna put up the pictures of J. Edward Hoover. He was a black man. He was just passing. But the Jim Crow law is very interesting because even when you hear Jim Crow. So was it named after a man named Jim Crow? Um, and I also see them trying to pay money for slavery. Okay, there's not enough money in the world that you can pay somebody that was enslaved, the ancestors. Um, there's not enough money in the world. Okay. Um, yeah, but Ed Hoover, I'm gonna put the pictures. If you look at the one picture, oh my goodness, I don't even know how people would even figure this out. I looked at him day one. I was like, this man is a black man. Okay, he has white ancestors and he has black. If you're a child that's mixed, normally sometimes it depends on the genes, how strong the person's genes are. Shoot, there's black people that have white babies. You know, like how do we have white babies? So the generation people mix, and everybody out here is a mix. Like they have all these white supremacist groups, and I'm just like, do y'all know y'all got black in you somewhere down the line? It's crazy, you guys. But yeah, J. Edgar Hoover was actually passing. What I mean was passing is he was passing for it as a white man. 50 years he fooled the government. Okay, 50 years. But the Jim Crow law, um, is basically this is a lawless law. And the reason why I say it's lawless is because it's basically saying, okay, we can just put anybody in office. And see, the thing is the votes in that community. If it's a predominantly black community, they're going to vote for whoever they feel is beneficial for their community. Just like if you live in a white community, it doesn't matter what community you live in. Okay, the best interest of the people that live in the community. Okay, if you can't do your job, then you need to go. And this is what I feel like a lot of people in the Senate, these old people that have been in the Senate for years and years, okay, especially Pelosi's ass, she been needed to go, okay. Um, and I believe J. Edward Hoover, I believe he was also not straight. He was not straight. Okay, he hid his sexuality. Okay, this is the energy I was pulling off of him energetically. Um, but it doesn't matter. What they're trying to do is divide and conquer. They did this during the Black Lives Matter movement. You guys, like there was people in the actual government and people that were working for um these radical groups. They were actually putting they had it. I remember seeing one of the videos. They were placing the bricks by the building for them to throw the bricks at the building. Okay. So don't believe a lot of this stuff out here. But Mississippi, I would be concerned because basically it's saying that they're just going to put somebody in office um, without electing them. Okay. Which there's going to be a lot of lawsuits. Okay. The reason why I say that is because you can't just have people coming off the street and say, oh, I'm going to run for mayor. I'm going to run for a deputy sheriff. I'm going to run for that. No, that's unconstitutional. Okay. You have to be elected official to get in. Okay. So I don't know how this law passed in the Senate. I'm still trying to figure this out. And what was so interesting is she said, why do they hate us so much? And I'm gonna tell you why. because when you don't know somebody, right? And you have a perception of somebody, right? Um, and the perception you have is wrong of a race of people. This could be any race, Spanish, blacks, um, and the crazy thing is everybody in the United States is going to be a minority, and the majority is going to be the Spanish population. Okay, so it's kind of interesting that Mississippi would even try to pass this. Um, to me, it's just a tactic saying, okay, this is Mississippi, we're a southern state, and we're going to do what we want to do. Okay, now what is a lot of these southern states, Mississippi, um, Texas, because Texas is not even considered a southern state, but what I see is hello from my friend from Mississippi. Hey Margaret, you're in Mississippi. Did you hear about the Jim Crow law in your state? The Jim Crow law. Yes, the Jim Crow law they just passed 7 days ago. The state is moving to create a white controlled district in an overwhelming black city. The reason why they're doing this is because the population not no not yet. Yes. Well, in your state, Margaret, I hope you're doing well. They're past they on 7 days ago, um there was a Jim Crow law that was re like redone because the law there was a Jim Crow law after slavery, but what happened was the state is moving to create a white controlled district of an overwhelming black city. The reason why they're doing this is because the population is more blacks than there is whites. So they're I don't know why they fear this and why they fear a black man. They fear black men, and I don't know why they fear them. Okay, it's very disturbing. My brother's black. My my children are half black. Yeah, girl. And if you get in trouble with the law, they're not even voting officials in. You know how they would vote people, elect people in? They're just gonna put their asses in office. Okay. So if you do a crime in Mississippi, they had a chain gangs, in Louisiana, those kind of states. Um, so that means if you do a crime, they can bill to change Jackson judge looks like Jim Crow Mississippi lawmaker says. Mississippi House votes to create a unelected. So it was Mississippi, okay. House votes to create an unelected state appointed court system within a majority black Jackson. The lawmakers in Mississippi are at odds over a bill that would create an unelected state appointed court system in the district within Jackson. But the thing about it is, you can't just go and say, "Oh, I'm gonna put this person in office." You know how many lawsuits there's gonna be. Um, we have to appoint people, and they don't even do their damn jobs. Okay, we need to start seeing these people's taxes. Okay, these people that were elected in, or these people that are elected officials. We need to see their tax returns, and because they're making money, okay, and they're not doing nothing. Nothing is getting done. Okay, we're paying to keep their asses in there, and they're not doing nothing. Okay, excuse me for cussing, but they're not doing nothing, not even for the communities. Okay, and a lot of changes are happening, you guys. We have a lot of distraction out here. Okay, there was a people that were getting food stamps. They just stopped. I think it was this month. I just read about it. Um, and how much food is costing right now, they're not going to get extra food stamps. And there's something they're doing with Medicaid. Okay. See, what is going on is a distraction of what is going on behind the scenes. Okay. Um, so a lot of people, even the housing market, you guys, it's just a mess right now. But anyways, yeah, if you guys are in Mississippi right now and they pass this Jim Crow law, I would move. Yeah, I would move. And it's hard to move from, your family's there and everything. Three things to know about what's critical or called in Mississippi Jim Crow law. You guys, I'm even shocked that they can even like they voted that they Jim Crow. This was 6 days ago. Bill to change Jackson judge looks like Jim Crow Mississippi lawmakers say. So the lawmakers in Mississippi, okay, so Mississippi House votes to create a unelected state-appointed court system within the majority. The reason why they're doing this too is because when election time comes, things are about to get real out here during election times. Okay, because a lot of people feel like the elections were rigged. So I don't know, but all I'm gonna say is I'm shocked. So whoever in Mississippi voted this guy in, I'm gonna show you his face. I don't even know who he is. I'm not from Mississippi, so I don't know about that much about Mississippi. This man right here. Hey, y'all need to vote his ass out. And it's unconstitutional. So there's no way this is going to be passed. This is just to stir things up, okay, and to divide and conquer. It's one of the oldest um war tactics in war is you divide people and you conquer them. Okay, you divide them and you conquer. Okay, um, the Mississippi House Democratic Caucus said in a statement on January 31st that it is unconstitutional power grab. It is control of cities. Okay, as a concern for citizens, they insert that the bill follows a pattern we've become all too familiar with. Starve a community, starve a community of much needed resources. Blame black leaders for incompetence. They're saying that the black leaders ain't doing their job. Okay. What happens is in different areas is different zonings. Okay. And the word project itself, project. The government actually, um, the Africans that were free and stuff were actually a project for the American government. Okay. So, what I see a new unsettling force. I just feel like, um, I don't know. I just feel like this is just a tactic that they're going to use to try to divide and conquer. Um, in the southern states like Mississippi, the poverty level in these states are very high. Um, because of the jobs, the jobs are not paying well. I mean, and even if you know, basically, I see this as just to rattle the snake. Okay, they poking the bear. Okay, um, and I think the thing about it is you can't just say, oh, this person is the mayor, this person is this, the governor, this person is that. You can't do that. Okay, there is a process. Okay, you have to be elected. But what's so interesting is many Christian ministers Theologians taught that white people were chosen people. You guys, this is just a divide and conquer. Okay, we're all we all bleed red. We're all God's children. Okay, and I don't know, but they're gonna try to pay people um money. I see this in the future. African Americans, they're gonna try to pay them money to for slavery. There's not enough money in the world you can pay for people being enslaved. Okay, there's not. There's no money in the world that you can pay. You just need to you know, stop looking at race. Okay, it's not about race, you guys. Um, our government is trying to divide and conquer us. So we'll put divide and conquer, and I'll tell you the definition. And then I'm going to end this live, okay? Divide and conquer. Divide and conquer. All I know is it's not showing definition. Divide and conquer is one of the oldest books in war. Okay, you divide a nation and you conquer it. That's basically what it is. You divide the people and you conquer them. Okay. So right now we don't need division. We need to come together. Okay. Um, we're stronger in numbers. Um, I love my government, but it's you guys, the people that are running this is they're just a hot mess, okay? Um, they need to get out of office. They don't even know what the hell they're doing anymore, okay? Not just that, they're like, I don't know, they're a bunch of idiots. That's all I gotta say, okay? Yeah, they're doing too much, Margaret. They're doing too much. It's a bunch of old people that have no lives that's trying to tell us how to live our lives. That's basically what it is. Okay. And they're not doing nothing for us. Think about it. We're paying them to sit in their seats every day to go to their offices. And what bills are they passing to get done? I haven't seen no bills pass. Okay. I haven't seen nothing change. It looks like to me it's getting worse out here. Okay. So things need to change. Okay. So all I see is that they're poking the bear. But the problem is they're poking the wrong kind of bears because these bears now, these kids now are not like kids when I grew up. They are differently type kids than when I grew up. Okay, um, we were told to be seen and not heard. These kids want to be seen and they want to be heard. Okay, so I just wanted to talk about a little bit of that what I see with this new Mississippi law um, which is not going to be passed. It's just smoke and mirrors. Um, they're just trying to rattle the poke the bear. Put it like that. They're trying to poke the bear. Okay, but they're poking the wrong kind of bears. Okay. This is my thoughts on the Jim Crow law in Mississippi. They can't just be putting people in office, okay? They have to be elected. They're saying in Mississippi that they're not going to elect people; they're just going to put them in office. Okay, so I may have to do a number two video on this because this is very interesting. There's actually people, a girl that on TikTok, she was crying. Okay, she was crying. Um, and she looked like my cousin. That's why I had to get on here. It's 12:25. But yeah, I had to get on here and be like, what is going on? Okay. This is how I tell you I don't watch news, okay? But this is a distraction and also was this law passed? They're going to try to pass this law, but it's not going to pass. Okay? This is what I'm seeing. They're going to try to because the Jim Crow law in the United States history, any of these laws that enforce racial segregation in the South between the end of slavery, 1877. Okay, um, Mississippi Republicans passed a bill to create separation, unelected court in the majority black cities. See, what the thing is during election time, you guys, people is it's gonna get real out here during election time. Okay, because people are tired of a lot of shit that's going on. Excuse me for cussing, you guys, but people are tired of a lot. Okay, there's only so much when you can poke a bear. Okay, and the bear pokes back. Okay, this is what I'm seeing. Um, and I don't know. But whoever elected these people in, they need to let their asses out, like real fast, okay? To even think about a law that was made right after slavery to implement it again because you don't have control of minority communities, okay? That is crazy. All right. And if you're out here listening to me tonight, and you are voting these people in, or you live in Mississippi, because Margaret, you live in Mississippi, you never even heard about this. Yeah. When you get a chance, Google the Jim Crow law 7 days ago that they were trying to pass, which is not, they're not going to be able to pass this bill, you guys. They're just poking the bear, okay, to see people's reaction, okay. That's all I'm seeing. All right, you guys, this is Jennifer Felix. I'm just touching a little bit on the Jim Crow law. It's not going to be passed, you guys. I know that for a fact. They're just trying to divide and conquer, and we need to come together as a nation because we have a lot that's going to be happening in the next couple months. Um, that right now we need to be united, um, not we need to be united, not divided. Okay, we need to be united, not divided. Okay. All right, you guys. I'm sending you guys love and light, my beautiful souls. I don't see color. Okay, I see the person. Okay, the person and who they are. Okay. If you're out here seeing people, and hate is taught. Okay, hate is taught. All right. Um, and hate is a projective, energetic energy. So if you are hating somebody because of who they are, the color of their skin, you got a serious issue out here. Okay. Um, and you need to reevaluate yourself. Okay. Because you're just projecting your fear because you fear something you don't know, right? But I just had to get on here. I seen that girl crying and I couldn't believe it. I'm like, she looks like my cousin. And she was on here crying because she was like, oh, they're going to pass it. They're not. They're going to try to pass it, but it's not going to get passed. Okay. All right, guys. Jennifer Felix, Margaret, you're in Mississippi. Um, Look up this law they're trying to pass. They're not going to pass it, but you can look it up. It's called the Jim Crow law. Okay. It was actually placed after slavery. Then they took the law away. Okay. And now they want to bring it back. Okay. Um, right now, like I said, once again, we need to be united, not divided. Okay. All right, you guys, this is Jennifer Felix. I am sending you love and light, my beautiful souls. Bye.